Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video. Today I wanted to go over 3 instances in the last year or two where a certain update or change to the game caused items to just go crazy in price. A good example of this is the climbing boots from RS2. I just made a video on that, so I won't talk about that too much. But in Oldschool Runescape, there's actually been a few instances kind of similar to that. Anyway, I hope you enjoy and let's get started. So the first one I want to talk about is actually to do with Fossil Island. When Fossil Island came out, there was a new quest that was released with it, the Voyage quest. At the time, a ton of people were doing this quest, and there was actually one item that you needed 2 of that kind of bottlenecked the quest for a little while, and that was vodka. So you actually needed 2 vodkas to complete the quest, and getting vodkas is not normally that hard. They're sold at a few shops, but they're not sold in massive quantities, and for the first couple hours of the quest being out, the price on the Grand Exchange skyrocketed to 500k, and apparently a few of them sold for 1 mil each just so people could complete the quest. Now this didn't last very long because the supply of vodkas finally did sate all the people trying to do the quest at once. For that whole morning, everyone was looking for vodka. Now the most popular spot to obtain it was in the Trinum Stronghold, but that was always sold out. But apparently in the Lighthouse it also is sold, and there was not so many people buying it there. So a little bit of game knowledge at the time could have made you a ton of money. I know some people managed to sell like 20 or 30 vodkas for like 200 to 300k each. And like I said, a few of them even sold for 1 mil each. I just waited and did the quest later, but I mean, that's just me. Now there is a bit of a conspiracy theory to go along with this. Apparently a few weeks before this update came out, you can see that there was about 14k vodkas traded on the Grand Exchange. A little suspicious, you might say. Is it possible that somebody knew about this update and bought 14,000 vodkas? Probably not. I think it was more of like a meme item at the time. It may have just been a coincidence in this case. This guy probably had more vodkas than was required at the time to complete the quest. If he had sold all 10k of his vodkas, he probably would not have gotten nearly close to 1 mil each. Maybe 20 or 30k each he could have gotten for them, but still, seems like it pays off to just invest in random low value items that may come in useful in the future. The next item I want to talk about is the Zulrah teleport. When the Zulrah teleport was released, they dropped in quantities of 50, which was shortly reduced to 20. So because of this, Zulrah teleport scrolls were very cheap at the time. They're only 100 GP, even cheaper, because there's such an oversupply of Zulrah teleports that they were never going to get used up at the same rate that they were coming into the game. However, on August 15th, they did a quick update that changed the drop rate to 1. This quickly shot the price up to 20k each over the next week or two, and at its peak, Zulrah teleport scrolls were worth 60k each. On the day of the update, 9 million scrolls were traded on the Grand Exchange. When Zulrah got nerfed, they finally increased the drop rate to 4, so now they're sitting down to around 20k each. So at the time, there was somebody who had stockpiled 400,000 Zulrah teleport scrolls. Suspicious, you might say. Oh wait, no. He sold them for 100 GP each. Poor guy. So apparently what happened is he was merching them. He bought them for about 60 GP each and he sold them for 100 GP each, so a pretty good merch, to be honest. Unfortunately, he left the scrolls in overnight and they sold, and that was around the time that they quickly shot up to 1k each, 2k each, then subsequently up to 15k and eventually 60k each. Now, I don't think you would have gotten 60k each for them, but if you still had them today, and if you sold them for 20k each, they would currently have a value of 8 bill, or 4 times max cash. But I mean, there's no way to know it all, so it's not really anybody's fault. It's just unfortunate for him. This was a bit of a controversial update at the time because they just snuck it in quickly, and it's such a drastic change to the drop rate that some people made a ton of money off of an update like this, kind of like the climbing boots V2. And the last item I wanted to talk about today is the Dragon Hunter Crossbow. While this is a little different than the first 2 items in that it's an actual expensive item to begin with, the Dragon Hunter Crossbow would have been an amazing investment when it first came out. So the Dragon Hunter Crossbow was released with the Chambers of Zarak update. When it was released, the Dragon Hunter Crossbow only had the accuracy and damage bonus of 10% versus dragons, but they changed it to 30% this year. When the Dragon Hunter Crossbow was released, it was settling to around 20 to 30 mil. However, over the course of the last year and a half, it's risen up to over 100 mil, and it's pretty much been consistently going up since then. It's the only Raids 1 item to continually raise up in price. It's not the most expensive Raids 1 weapon, but it's the one that seemed the most drastic change, with around a 500% increase in price. So yes, they did buff it this year, but the main cause for the price to be increased was the release of Vorkath, which came out after the release of Raids 1. Vorkath being one of the best moneymakers in the game, and the Dragon Hunter Crossbow being the best in slot at Vorkath, has made it such a desirable weapon that the price is just continuously increasing. Not to mention that Rune Dragons also came out as well. While not as good as Vorkath, is still a very good moneymaker, and the Dragon Hunter Crossbow is desirable there, as well as Brutal Black Dragon. Anyway guys, that is 3 huge price shifts that has happened in Oldschool Runescape in the last 2 years. I was kind of wondering if you guys remember any other items that went totally crazy with an update coming out, or has fluctuated in price, something like this. If you do remember, please leave a comment, I would appreciate it. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you next time.